For a while now, the Nintendo 2022 release calendar has had one big question mark on it, and that was the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's been slated for this year, 2022, for a long time now, but for one, obviously, this series, specifically Breath of the Wild, has had quite the history of delays. I'll never forget the infamous 2015 on the closing of the reveal trailer for the original. We also haven't seen much on the game still, especially in terms of actual gameplay. What we've gotten has been quite minimal, especially again for a game that's supposedly just months away. Something I've been pointing out was just the name. I found it weird that we're again getting so close to this game coming out, and it still doesn't have an actual title, just this working Breath of the Wild 2. Like, you'd think they'd want to get something like that out there for advertising, sales listings, and that really soon if it's going to be here again for like this holiday. But this morning, we got an update on the state of the game that answers that question. Nintendo this morning again posted a short video where Aonuma confirmed that the game will not be coming in 2022. Instead, they are delaying it until spring 2023. He accompanied the announcement with some brief talks about the game, as well as some new footage combined with stuff we've seen before. First, let's talk about this date. I've been saying I could see them pushing it back and having Breath of the Wild 2 sort of more line up with the anniversary of the original Breath of the Wild. Obviously, that launched on March 3rd with the Switch. I'm not saying this confirms like it's going to come out then or anything like that, but yeah, around that time made sense to me. And they could kind of build off the whole, like, 6 years or whatever since the last game, since the Switch released, whatever. In fact, I definitely see them doing, like, a special edition Switch for this game. They could also time that maybe more so with the Switch anniversary, because, it's like, when they do the special edition systems, it's not like they necessarily have to come out the same day as the game they're paired with. And speaking of a new system, could it possibly also line up with an upgraded Switch or something? It's not something I'd go crazy with. I wouldn't put too many eggs in that basket, but again, when I've raised this idea of the Breath of the Wild sequel releasing more around the Switch anniversary, I said I could see it being paired with a new upgraded Switch, whether it's marketed as a whole new system or a Pro. I think a lot of people, myself included, see 2023 or 2024 making a lot of sense for a new Switch system. It's weird though, like would they do it that early? I don't know. I think they'd still want to push it back to the holidays. But it's something I could see as being possible. In terms of what this means for the game itself, again, this is something I think many were expecting, or at least thought was very likely, very possible. I mean, I doubt there's going to be many, if any of you in the comments that are like absolutely shocked by this, going, "Oh, what? I can't believe this. How could you, Nintendo? You lied to me. You ruined my entire year. I'm just going to throw my Switch in the garbage now." I know this is the age of Twitter. I'm sure some people have said stuff like that, but I don't think it's going to be too many people freaking out. And if you do see that, you can take the opportunity to reply with the, Miyamoto delayed game is eventually good quote that everyone thinks they're so smart posting whenever a game gets delayed. Yeah, you know how all the games, Duke Nukem Forever, more recently Cyberpunk, right? They're going to be amazing when they launch. But seriously, I don't see this as like an indicator to be worried or anything like that. Again, this is an established thing with these games already. It's not like it's a very long delay. Also, at least myself, I'm not looking at this like, oh man, this game's in trouble. It's going to be bad or anything like that. Speaking of things people thought were bad about Breath of the Wild, with the footage they showed, there was this look at Link holding the Master Sword, and it looked rough. Sort of a Link, I don't feel so good type of situation. A lot of people are discussing, the lore implications, what this might mean. But myself, at least, I'm thinking a lot about the weapon breaking that was very divisive in the last game. Personally, I actually liked the weapon breaking. Okay, don't boo me, because I'll admit the Master Sword having the charge thing that just was so stupid. And so maybe, this is going to be kind of a lore way to work that kind of stuff in, make it not so dumb. I mean, again, we'll have to see, but that's the first thing I thought of when I saw the Master Sword in this state. Like, oh, is this kind of how they're going to mess with the whole weapon breaking stuff and put more plot behind it with you now having the Master Sword. But yeah, in terms of the delay, I assume the work they're doing is just going to be giving it that extra polish, probably trying to make sure it runs smooth when it comes out, you know, not have one of those instances where we're waiting for updates to fix the frame rate and that. And also, this is my main reason why I think they're doing this. There's no rush. I mean, this year, 2022, another thing I've been saying for a while, is absolutely jam-packed with games. We've got big stuff dropping left and right. Honestly, it's hard to keep up. I mean, I can't keep up. Even with just like the big Nintendo stuff, I barely touched Triangle Strategy and have shifted over to Kirby now to try and beat that so I can do a video on it, because obviously Kirby is going to take me a lot less time to beat than Triangle Strategy, and Kirby's something I wanted to really cover. I'm also playing Elden Ring as well. You know, other platforms don't just stop existing either. We've got stuff in the Nintendo camp like Splatoon 3, Bayonetta 3, the Pokemon games now, Scarlet and Violet dropping as the big holiday game. Yeah, I've been saying when I discuss the possibility of Breath of the Wild 2 being delayed, we really don't need it in 2022. That's not to say I wouldn't want it or wouldn't push some of these games to the side for it, okay? But I certainly don't need it. I've got more than enough on my plate just trying to juggle, even again, just Nintendo's games. So when you consider that, I think you've got maybe the Breath of the Wild team saying, like, you know, they could use more time, or even, you know, we're really going to have to crunch hard to get this game out by the end of the year. And yeah, if you're in that situation, why not take the extra time? Even if it is just touching up small things, I always prefer the game being the best it can be at launch. If it takes more time, so be it. I can't even think of a Nintendo year where we needed another big game less. Again, this is at least my opinion. If anything, I like things being more spaced out. I don't think we need Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Breath of the Wild 2 releasing like on top of each other. And I think it's nice giving people something monster to look forward to in the early part of 2023. That way, as this year starts coming to an end and we look forward into 2023, it's like, okay, we've got this monster title coming pretty early that we already know about and can start, you know, building the rest of the year around that. I think, yeah, it just makes all the sense in the world. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Just wanted to give a quick update on this delay with my thoughts. Obviously, let me know your thoughts on this announcement in the comments. Are you disappointed by the delay? Do you share my thoughts that Nintendo has plenty coming out already in 2022 and didn't really need this game anyway? And what do you think is up with the Master Sword in that trailer? As always, I'm the Shy Guy, Johnny Zakari, and thanks for watching.